Elias Wren had learned that deep space had its own kind of silence. It was not empty. It was heavy, like the pause before a storm that never showed itself. The observation station drifted between two quiet stars, far beyond trade routes and military patrols. Humanity called it a listening post, but Elias often thought of it as a waiting place. He stood alone in the circular observation chamber, hands resting on the cold rail, eyes fixed on the slow movement of distant galaxies. The stars looked calm tonight, too calm. The station's systems hummed softly, the steady sound of machines doing their duty without complaint. Elias trusted those sounds more than his instincts, but tonight his instincts refused to stay quiet. Something was wrong. The alert came without warning. No blaring sirens. No flashing red lights. Just a gentle tone, soft enough that it almost sounded polite. Elias frowned and turned toward the console. "Report," he said, even though no one else was awake. The console responded with scrolling data Elias had never seen before. Spacetime distortion readings, internal sensor conflicts, visual anomalies with no measurable mass or energy. "That's not possible," Elias murmured. The station was designed to detect threats long before they arrived. Ships, weapons, radiation. But this was something else. It was as if space itself had decided to bend inward, folding like fabric pulled by unseen hands. Elias reached for the command panel to call Earth Command. The signal would take hours to arrive, days to return. Still, protocol was protocol. Before he could send it, the lights dimmed. Not failed, not flickered. They dimmed as if someone had carefully lowered them. Elias froze. The temperature in the chamber did not change, but the air felt different, thicker. Charged like the moment before lightning struck, though no storm could exist here. Then the distortion appeared. At first, it was nothing more than a shimmer, a soft ripple in empty space just meters away from him. The stars behind it warped slightly, bending around a growing shape that did not obey any known rule. Elias stepped back slowly, his hand hovering near the emergency controls. His heart hammered in his chest, but training kept his movement steady. The shimmer brightened. Light spilled outward, not harsh or blinding, but warm and steady, like the glow of a distant sunrise. The shape solidified, forming the outline of a figure, a person. She stood where moments ago there had been nothing at all. Her feet did not touch the floor, yet she did not float. She simply existed, glowing softly, her form clear but surrounded by light that shifted like the colors of autumn leaves and spring grass. She looked almost human. Almost. Her eyes were deeper than any space Elias had seen, filled with slow-moving patterns that reminded him of seasons changing on a world long forgotten. Her presence pressed gently against his thoughts, not invading but impossible to ignore. Elias swallowed. "Identify yourself," he said, his voice steady despite the storm inside him. She looked at him as if she had been observing him for a very long time. "I have no name that your language could hold," she said. Her voice was calm, layered, as if more than one tone spoke at once. "But I came because my season pulled me across galaxies to you." Elias felt the weight of her words settle over him. Season, galaxies, to him. "That's not an answer," he said carefully. "How did you get on this station?" She tilted her head slightly, studying the room, the walls, the instruments, the fragile human technology holding back the void. "I did not travel," she replied. "I arrived." The lights brightened a little, responding to her presence like obedient servants. Elias clenched his fists. "You're inside a restricted human installation," he said. "If this is a test or some kind of projection—" "It is neither," she said gently. "I am here because your kind has reached the edge of something you do not yet see." Elias laughed once, short and sharp, more from disbelief than humor. "We hear that a lot," she smiled, not wide, not threatening, just enough to suggest understanding. "Yes," she said, "and you never listen." Before Elias could respond, the station's long-range sensors activated on their own. The main display flared to life, filling the chamber with data and images. Elias turned, his breath catching. Something vast moved through the darkness far beyond the stars. It was not a ship, not a creature. It was a shadow against reality itself, swallowing light and space as it passed. Entire star systems dimmed behind it, their energy fading like dying embers. Elias recognized the readings instantly, even though humanity had never fully understood them. A cycle event. Ancient alien records spoke of it in fragments, a recurring phenomenon that appeared at the end of long galactic ages. Civilizations vanished, not destroyed, simply erased. "Is that what you mean?" Elias asked quietly. "Yes," she said, "the closing season." Elias stared at the display, his mind racing. "We thought it was a myth, a misunderstanding of cosmic decay." "You hoped it was," she corrected. He turned back to her. "Then why are you here, to warn us, to tell us to run?" She looked at him with something that almost resembled sadness. "No civilization outruns a season," she said. "Most accept it, some worship it, others fight and fail. I am sent to observe." "Observe what?" Elias demanded. She met his eyes. "How you end." The words hung in the air like frost. Elias felt fear then, real fear, not for himself but for everything humanity had built, every world, every child born under artificial skies, every dream that stretched toward the stars. "You said your season pulled you to me," he said slowly. "Why me?" "Because you are listening," she replied. Elias frowned. "I didn't invite you." "No," she said, "but you questioned the silence." The station shuddered slightly as distant space twisted further. Alarms finally began to sound, low and urgent. Systems struggled to interpret what could not be measured. Elias moved to the console and initiated a full broadcast to Earth and allied systems. "This is Commander Wren. Unknown contact. Possible cycle event confirmed. Request immediate analysis and response." The signal launched into the void. The glowing woman watched, her expression unreadable. "They will not answer in time," she said. "Then we don't stop trying," Elias replied. She studied him closely now. "That is why your kind interests the universe." Elias paused. "The universe interests you," she nodded. "The universe follows patterns, predictable, orderly, until something refuses to behave as expected." Elias looked again at the image of the approaching darkness. "You expect us to give up. I expect you to respond as all others have," she said. "And if we do," for the first time her glow flickered, "then the season itself may change," she said quietly. The station shook again, stronger this time. Somewhere deep in the structure, metal groaned. Elias straightened his shoulders. "Then you'd better stay and watch." She smiled again, and this time there was something new in it. Curiosity. Elias did not sleep after that. The station moved through space as it always had, steady and quiet, but nothing felt the same. The glow she carried stayed with him even when he closed his eyes. It was not light that hurt to look at. It was the kind that made darkness feel less certain. She remained in the observation chamber, standing near the wide glass arc, watching the stars as if they were old memories. She did not move unless she wished to. She did not touch anything, yet systems adjusted around her presence like careful animals. Earth Command responded 12 hours later. Their message came with heavy delay and careful words. They acknowledged the signal. They requested more data. They advised caution. They did not believe everything Elias reported, though they did not say that directly. They never did. Elias sent everything: sensor logs, visual recordings, readings that made no sense. He even sent a personal note, breaking protocol, explaining that whatever was coming was not a threat in the usual way. It was an ending. The glowing woman listened as Elias recorded each message. She never interrupted. When he finished, he leaned back in his chair and rubbed his eyes. "They will argue," he said. "They always do." "Yes," she replied. "Your kind debates even while time moves forward." Elias looked at her. "You make that sound like a flaw." "It is not," she said. It is rare. The anomaly continued its slow approach. It did not rush. It did not hunt. It moved with calm certainty as if the universe itself made room for it. Stars dimmed at its edge. Signals vanished where it passed. Other civilizations noticed. Messages began to arrive from distant systems. Old allies, careful neighbors, some asked questions, most announced withdrawals. Borders closed, jump gates powered down. Entire regions of space went dark as fleets retreated inward, hiding behind layers of defense and silence. Elias watched the reports with growing anger. "They're running," he said. "They are surviving," she corrected, "by leaving everyone else behind. That is how survival has always worked," she said, "until your species began interfering." Elias stood and paced the chamber. "We help because it's right. Because you believe it is right," she said. "That matters." She considered this. It has not mattered before. Earth Command finally issued a directive. Humanity would focus on evacuation of core worlds. Non-essential colonies were advised to prepare for loss. Assistance to non-human systems was suspended. Elias read the order twice, then once more. He slammed his hand on the console. "No." The glowing woman turned toward him. "You will disobey." "I will question," he said. "I will argue, and if I must, I will disobey." She studied him with open interest now. "Why?" Elias stopped pacing. "Because if we decide some lives are worth less than others, then we're already finished." The anomaly grew larger on the display. Human fleets began to move. Not inward as expected, but outward. Independent captains, civilian rescue ships, old military vessels pulled from reserve. They formed convoys aimed not at safety but at endangered systems. Earth Command protested. Orders were repeated. Threats were implied. The fleets moved anyway. Elias watched it unfold, heart-pounding. "We're not special," he said softly. "We just refuse to stop trying." The glowing woman stepped closer. The air shimmered around her. "You turn defiance into doctrine." "We turn hope into action," Elias replied. As the anomaly crossed into the outer human frontier, something changed. It slowed. The shift was small, almost invisible, but the sensors caught it. The cycle event hesitated, like a wave meeting resistance it did not expect. Elias leaned forward. "Did you see that?" "Yes," she said, and for the first time, her voice held uncertainty. Across space, human ships evacuated alien worlds whose governments had already given up. They shared power, food, and shelter. Humans died saving strangers who did not understand why they were being helped. Stories spread faster than fleets. Species that had hidden for centuries began to reach out again. Small acts of resistance formed, not with weapons but with cooperation. The universe watched. The glowing woman began to weaken. It was subtle at first. Her light dimmed at the edges. Her outline blurred as if she were losing focus. Elias noticed immediately. "What's happening to you?" She looked down at her hands, light flickering through her fingers. "I am bound to the pattern. If the pattern breaks, so do I." Elias felt a strange tightening in his chest. "You said you were here to observe." "Yes. Not to interfere. Never," she said. "And yet you're still here." She met his eyes. "Because I am no longer certain what I am observing." The anomaly slowed again. Then it shuddered. Space rippled outward from its core, not violently, but like a held breath released. The cycle was reacting, not attacking, not advancing, questioning. Elias opened a channel to all human fleets. "Keep going, help whoever you can, don't stop." The response came back not as words, but as action. More ships joined. The glowing woman's light faded further, but her expression softened. "For the first time," she said, "the universe is unsure." Elias looked at the stars. "Good." The station trembled one last time as the anomaly paused at the edge of known space, waiting. And for the first time in cosmic history, the season did not know how to continue. The anomaly stayed still. That alone changed everything. Across human space and far beyond it, sensors confirmed the same impossible truth. The cycle event, the thing that had never stopped once it began, had paused, not slowed, not redirected. It waited as if listening. Elias stood in the observation chamber, staring at the great shadow on the display. His hands trembled slightly, though he kept them still. He knew history was bending around this moment, even if no one yet understood how. The glowing woman stood beside him, her light faint now, like the last glow of a sunset. She looked smaller, not weaker, but closer to something human. "This has never happened," she said. Elias did not look away from the screen. Then maybe the universe needed a new answer. Her glow flickered, or a new question. Messages flooded in from across space. Alien worlds once silent were speaking again. Some sent thanks, others sent confusion. A few sent fear, but none sent surrender. Human fleets were stretched thin. Supplies ran low, ships were damaged. Crews were exhausted. Still they kept moving, still they helped. Elias opened a channel to Earth Command again. This time they did not argue. They listened. A plan formed slowly, not in one place but everywhere at once. Scientists, engineers, philosophers, pilots, and civilians all contributed. Humanity had never faced something like this before, but they had always faced the unknown together. They realized the anomaly was not an enemy. It was a rule. A process that reset the universe when civilizations grew too complex, too loud, too permanent. It was meant to keep existence balanced, simple, predictable. Humanity was none of those things. Elias spoke softly, more to himself than anyone else. "It's not destroying us. It's correcting us." The glowing woman nodded. "The cycle restores silence. Then we give it something else," Elias said. "What?" she asked. "Meaning." The plan was risky. It did not involve weapons. It did not involve shields. It involved connection. Humanity began broadcasting not just data but stories, memories, music, languages, proof of cooperation. They shared records of helping other species, of rebuilding lost worlds, of choosing compassion when survival alone would have been easier. Alien species joined in. Old rivals shared histories. Enemies admitted regrets. Civilizations that had hidden their pasts opened them fully, offering their mistakes and lessons to the void. The universe filled with voices. The anomaly trembled, not violently, not angrily. It pulsed like a heartbeat trying to find a new rhythm. The glowing woman fell to her knees. Elias rushed to her side. "Hey, stay with me." She looked up at him, light fading fast. "I was never meant to see this." "See what?" "Choice," she said. Her glow dimmed further, and for the first time she cast a shadow. The anomaly began to change shape. Its edges softened. The darkness thinned. Stars behind it began to shine through, weak at first, then stronger. The cycle was unraveling. Across the universe, ancient structures long thought dead powered on. Systems older than any known civilization awakened, responding to the shift. They had been built to observe the cycle, to ensure it continued. Now they hesitated. Elias felt tears sting his eyes. "We're doing it." "No," the glowing woman said weakly. "You already did." The anomaly collapsed inward, not into nothing, but into light. The shadow folded like a curtain being drawn aside. Energy dispersed harmlessly, feeding stars instead of consuming them. The season ended. Not with destruction, with change. Silence fell across the observation chamber. Systems stabilized. Alarms faded. The stars looked brighter than before, as if relieved. Elias turned back to the glowing woman. She was still there, but barely. Her form flickered, transparent now, like mist in sunlight. "What happens to you?" he asked quietly. She smiled, fully this time. "I am no longer needed." "You could stay," Elias said. "Learn live." She shook her head gently. "I was part of the rule. The rule is gone." Elias swallowed. "Then what pulled you to me?" She reached out, her hand passing through his without touch, yet leaving warmth behind. "Hope." Her light scattered into countless small sparks, drifting upward like fireflies before fading completely. She was gone. Earth Command declared a universal cease of emergency status. Worlds began rebuilding not alone but together. Borders reopened. Alliances deepened. Humanity was no longer just another species among many. They were proof. Elias remained at the listening post, though it no longer listened for endings. It listened for beginnings. Sometimes, late in the artificial night, he thought he saw a soft glow between the stars. Not watching, not judging, remembering. The universe had expected humanity to fade quietly. Instead, humanity taught it how to grow. And for the first time, the future was not a season. It was a choice.